Hello everyone, I'm DanTheMan. There have been a lot of fans wondering, with Harley Quinn sadly ending in a couple weeks, and Stargirl not set to start until sometime in the spring, what would DC Universe be showing in the intervening time? Or would there be a gap in their weekly episode programming between the two shows? Which had some discouraged at the thought, since that would mean over a month-long gap of no original programming. Well, last week DC Universe gave us an answer to that question in the form of a very unexpected announcement for a new DC Universe show that came from out of nowhere. Not that that's a bad thing. Starting February 28th, which will be 1 week after the final episode of Season 1 of Harley Quinn drops, or the end of the first batch of episodes of Season 1, I'm still not clear on what DC Universe is calling them. But either way, after episode 13, DC Universe will premiere a new show called DC Universe All-Star Games. DC Universe All-Star Games will be a tabletop RPG show. For some not familiar with what a tabletop RPG show is, which is likely a lot of you, tabletop RPG shows feature a group of players sitting down and playing a tabletop role-playing game, which if people don't know what those are, is essentially what Dungeons & Dragons is. Play and make-believe with rules. There's a game master who tells a story, and the players decide what their characters will try to do, then through a series of rules and dice rolls, determine if what they wanted to do worked, and act out accordingly. Some would argue that this would not seem like something that would be entertaining to watch, and admittedly, these type of shows are not for everyone. But they have been growing in popularity in recent years, especially on platforms like Twitch and YouTube, and when done well, they can be a unique and engaging way to tell a story. Think of them as ad-libbed radio shows with game rules thrown in to help lead the story forward. Now when done poorly, they can be an exercise in stamina to watch, and given that they can be made so cheaply and relatively quickly, a lot of people have tried to tackle this format, both more professional formats and some more amateurs. From ones with great production values, at least for a show that's more or less people sitting and talking, to people on webcams for each player who are only really entertaining themselves, and everything in between. But this is DC Universe, who so far has delivered high-quality programming on every show they put out. And as their trailer has shown, this one will feature good production values and all have legit geek cred. The show will be produced by Freddie Prinze Jr., who will also be one of the game players. That alone is enough to get me interested, as Freddie Prinze Jr. is my hero. A lot of my friends, when he was in his prime acting days, hated on him, but I never got why. He's a card-carrying geek who starred in various hit movies opposite beautiful women. He did voice acting in a Star Wars series, was a writer for the WWE, and married Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Hate him. Hell, I wanted to be him. Still do, actually. But I got off track there for a minute. Along with him, the show will also star no voice actress Vanessa Marshall, who at least of note to DC fans has played Wonder Woman in several of the DC animated films, among other various voice acting projects. Clare Grant, an actress who was a founding member of Team Unicorn, a group of girls who are best known for making geek-themed comedy videos, as well as a short-lived series on Cartoon Network, and regularly appearing at comic conventions. And finally, WWE superstar Xavier Woods. The Game Master will be actor Sam Witwer, who's also an executive producer. He's also appeared in many comic and genre-related programs, including Battlestar Galactica, Smallville, Being Human, a great show by the way, just to throw that in there, and on the DC front, he was Agent Liberty in Supergirl. They'll be playing the game DC Heroes, an RPG from the 80s, released shortly after Crisis on Infinite Earths, that was very popular in its day, and gained a lot of interest recently with the rise of 80s nostalgia. At the time, the game was also something of a reference for the DC Universe information in an era before the internet and where the huge coffee table books full of information we get now was not really available. It, among other things, gave a map that laid out for the first time where the many fictional cities and countries in the DC Universe are located. And before anyone asks, Gotham City is in New Jersey because of course it is. I don't know how this show will be received as a whole. Like I said, RPG shows are not for everyone, and while there's a huge crossover between comic book fans and people who play role-playing games, There are undoubtedly many viewers of DC Universe who will know little about these type of games, much less this format of show. One big change that the show will apparently be having from a typical RPG show: tabletop RPGs are generally a slow, methodical process, which leads to most episodes being around 3 to 4 hours long, due mostly to the majority of them streaming or airing live. DC Universe All-Star games will apparently be only 30 minutes an episode. I can only assume they filmed a 3 or 4 hour gaming session and then edited it down to 5 30-minute episodes, which would make sense given how this show came somewhat out of nowhere. It likely did have a quick turnaround. Given the pace of most of these type of games, I'm not sure what at all will be accomplished in just 30 minutes, but depending on how they're edited, I guess it could be a lot. And on the plus side, it would make the episodes more digestible to newcomers. One of the many complaints people who watch these kinds of shows for the first time often have, especially if they've not played RPGs before, is the length of the episode. Obviously not an issue if the episodes are only 30 minutes long. I still think an hour would be a better fit, but time will tell if they made the right choice or not. I'm looking forward to this show a lot. I don't know if I'll be doing reviews for it like I'm doing with Harley Quinn and am planning to do for Stargirl once it starts airing. Depending on how it plays out, it may not lend itself well to the kind of reviews I do, but I'll definitely be watching it, and at only 5 episodes for Season 1, if nothing else, it looks like a fun bridge between Harley Quinn and Stargirl. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to share the video. If you want to see the trailer for DC Universe All-Star Games, you can click on the card right here, and you can also check out my latest review right here. I'm Dan the Man, and I'll see you next time.